This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight, on the banks of the Mississippi and Busch Stadium, the homestand continues. Game 1 of 4. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks and the St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome to the broadcast booth here at Busch Stadium. I'm Dan McLaughlin. That's Brad Thompson, and Jim Hayes is with us as well. The Cardinals salvaged a game in their series with the Mets yesterday. A lot of fireworks, a lot of fun, and the Cardinals had a lot of hitting. Leading the way, Nolan Arenado.
It was a much-needed victory yesterday, a come-from-behind victory, and Nolan Arenado had his hands all over it. 3 hits in the game. Now, this was high and tight late. Emotions were flying. So was the ball off of Nolan Arenado's bat. That has been the key this season. The numbers have been fantastic.
Great start to the 2022 season. How about in his career? Nolan Arenado debuted on this date. And his stats since then, the Charmin ultra strong stats. Taking a look at Nolan Arenado, one of the best third basemen in the game.
He's one of the best players in the game, and he has been since he came into the league. And the intensity that he had as a young player, he maintains it today.
Nolan, we know about the offense. Oh yeah, the 9 gold gloves. And we love defense in plays like this. Incredible throw yesterday by Dylan Carlson. Closer look at that is coming up on Bally Sports. As fans are filing in, game number 1 of the 4-game set. The Diamondbacks just took 2 of 3 against the Dodgers. They can pitch. Can they hit? Well, we'll find out.
Well, that's something that the Cardinals need to take advantage of. Dakota Hudson today on the mound. Go right after them. They have struggled, but it's going to be a struggle there. The Cardinals going to have to battle up at the plate. Castellanos has been solid.
Take a look at what they've done offensively as a team, collectively hitting 178. So lowest team average in April. This is all time, and the Diamondbacks want to remove themselves from that list. The D-backs are here. The Cardinals try to build on the win they had yesterday. Arizona, St. Louis, and game 1 is coming up. On Bally Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. Umbrellas are out and rain expected tonight, but we're going to get started on time. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the St. Louis Cardinals, the first of 4 here in St. Louis, where it's 67 degrees. With Brad Thompson, Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. And tonight's starter for St. Louis, Dakota Hudson.
Well, you and I were talking about this before the game, Dan. If you might have some rain, this might be the perfect guy on the mound, because Dakota Hudson, when he is in the zone, he can get outs quickly. His last outing against the Reds, he was solid. Pitched into the 7th inning, 6 2/3. You got to love what you've seen out of him. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Dakota Hudson, you know what it is, a lot of sinkers. He'll also run that 4-seamer in, 2 different breaking balls, and mixes in the changeup as well.
Torey Lovullo in his 6th season as the Diamondbacks manager. He's 8 wins away from becoming the all-time winningest manager in Arizona history. Dalton Varsho at the top, then Pavin Smith, David Peralta. A lot of lefties in the lineup. Walker, Beer, Marte, the former Cardinal Carson Kelly, Nick Ahmed, and Perdomo batting 9th. So lefties aplenty in the lineup for the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight.
Yeah, there are for sure, and that actually seems to be playing into the hand of Dakota Hudson so far this year, holding lefties to a 136 average so far.
So the lefties just 3 for 22, a double, and they've struck out 5 times against Dakota Hudson. There's Dalton Varsho to lead it off. The center fielder for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the first pitch taken low and outside. Varsho, the son of former outfielder Gary Varsho, and he played with the late Philly star catcher Darren Daulton, and that's who this young man is named after. And it's a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. He's 0 for his last 8 with a walk. Arizona comes in having just won 2 of 3 against the Dodgers.
I like that area too. Stay inside. Varsho wants to take everything away. He'll pull, but it's hard for him to get to that pitch on the inner half. That's why he is up against the plate. You see how close he is to it. He wants to take that pitch away and turn on it.
So it's a league worst team average of 178. And the Diamondbacks averaging just 3 runs a game. They're 29th in OPS. But they're winning some games because their pitching has been the exact opposite. It's amongst the league leaders, especially their starting staff. And a 3-1 pitch by Dakota Hudson. Out to center field. Backing up Bader to make the catch. Brad Thompson's Toyota key to the game.
Very simple with Dakota Hudson. Attack everybody. Go right after everybody in this lineup. We just talked about the struggles that they've had top to bottom. You use that sinker in the zone. Use the slider off of it. You're going to get quick outs. And why are quick outs important? Well, they're always good, especially with the defense like he has behind him. But this Cardinal bullpen has had to eat up 12 innings in the last 2 days. They've been worked heavily. Quick outs and attacking is going to be the key.
So 1 out and nobody on, and a pitch inside in the dirt to Pavin Smith. A solid rookie campaign. The rookie of the year is voted on by the Baseball Writers Association of America in Arizona. At 42 starts at first and in right. Played in center and also in left. Big kid, 6'2", 210 pounds. 11 home runs last year. And the 1-1 pulled foul, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Genesis Cabrera. Ali Marmol was telling us that they weren't even sure if he was going to pitch tonight. They had to make sure that he played catch, felt good enough. Probably would not be available for a full inning, but to clean up an inning, well, you can throw that out the window as he gets a 1-game suspension because of the brawl yesterday, and he'll serve it tonight.
Not sure there's much better time to take your 1-game suspension than a game that you likely weren't going to be in the first place.
And the 2-2 and a full count. Charlie Ramos, the home plate umpire. Alan Porter down at first. Mark Wegner, the crew chief. Jeremy Rehak is at third.
Now you might be thinking also, well, why wouldn't he just appeal it? Well, if he appeals it and loses, might be in a day where you really need him.
So just get it out of the way tonight. Ground ball hit into the shift. Shortstop pulled the Young 2 away. Round the Horn presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Nolan Arenado for the time being not suspended. We'll see if that sticks. O'Neill, Bader, Dickerson in the outfield. Nolan at third. DeYoung, Edman, Goldie on the infield, and Yadier Molina behind the plate. 2 outs and David Peralta. Peralta, a former Cardinal minor league pitcher. So how about that? He is a pitcher, then converted to the outfield, and has turned himself into a very, very good player and having a long career now.
Yeah, he has. He's been one of their leaders over there with Arizona. Peralta worked hard also this offseason. Totally rebuilt his swing, had a down offensive year, worked with Michael Brantley this offseason of the Astros, really dug in and said, look, I'm ready to learn. I want to be more efficient, want to know how my body moves. And the results in spring early were really good.
You may say, well, why Michael Brantley? And Peralta's reasoning is a pretty good one. He said he is the only player in baseball that's hit 300 or better in each of the last 4 seasons. So I want to find out what he's doing. 2 balls and a strike. His last 9 games, couple of doubles, a home run, and hitting .310. He's played in the 4th most games in Arizona Diamondbacks history, 893 tonight. 3-1 the count. My concern with Hudson going tonight, Brad, would be if you have a rain delay. And if it's lengthy of any sort, a guy coming back from Tommy John, you got to be awfully careful. And a 2-out walk.
No, I think you're right with that. And to that point, you add on the fact that the bullpen did have to eat up 12 innings in the last 2 days. You really need him to, well, you need him to be efficient. You need the rain to stay away. And I'm sure that all factored in as this game was getting closer and closer of, what does this forecast look like?
Now Christian Walker hitting 152, 4 home runs, and he's driven in 7. He's 0 for his last 11 with a couple of strikeouts head to head against Hudson. 0 for 3. He's got one of the longest home runs already hit this year, 467 feet against the Mets. He's got tremendous power.
Yeah, he does. And with him, the key is to stay away from that pitch, actually. Right down the middle is the one. Wasn't ready for it there, looking for something a little bit different, but he's a mistake hitter right now. If you leave it there, he can end up hurting you. If you execute a pitch away, you're going to get him.
Originally a 4th-round pick in 2012 by the Orioles. Picked up off of waivers by Atlanta. Then we saw him in Cincinnati briefly, and then Arizona, and that all happened in 1 month in 2017. He had at least 1 hit in all 5 games that he played against the Cardinals last year, and with 10 hits this season, 4 of the 10 have been home runs. Very short lead at first by Peralta. The 1-1 pitch from Dakota Hudson. The check swing, and he went, says Alan Porter, the first base umpire. A ball and 2 strikes. Brad mentioned it last time out. 6 2/3 for Hudson. 92 pitches. Picked up his 200th career strikeout. And there's Dave McKay, longtime first base coach with the A's and the St. Louis Cardinals, and now with Arizona for a brief stop with the Cubs. So it's 2-2, and the first 3 hitters, we had a 3-ball count on each of them.
Yeah, that's not exactly our attack key to the game yet, but getting a feel for it. Dakota does get stronger as he goes on. He gets a feel for that sinker, where it's moving. The ball moves so darn much that he throws, which is a blessing, but it can also be a curse when you can't find your starting point.
The 2-2. Yesterday's game, Steven Matz close to being taken out, and we thought he would be. And we asked Ollie in his office today, what was the conversation? He said simply, how are you going to get the hitter out? Yeah. I know you're going to tell me I feel good, let me go. He said, I don't want to hear that. What's your plan of attack? And he said, okay, I like it. You got another life. And that was big. A swing and a miss and a strikeout for Hudson, his first of the night. Diamondbacks strand a runner, half inning in the books, and there's no score.
To me, not that it's a good thing that you're not really hitting, because overall, and maybe it's crazy to say after a 15-hit, 10-run output, but the fact that you're still figuring out ways to win ball games, you are relying heavily on your pitching. But Dan, you know this, throughout 6 months and 162 games, there's going to be times where this offense carries the pitching. That's what good teams do. And then you're going to have the sweet spot where both things are clicking.
3-1 pitch and a leadoff walk. Tommy Edman. We'll see if they want to get busy running against Carson Kelly, the former Cardinal, behind the plate. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Peralta, Varsho, and Smith in the outfield. Perdomo, Ahmed, a 2-time Gold Glover at short. Marte, Walker on the right side. Carson Kelly is behind the plate. Carson played parts of 3 seasons with the Cardinals, and then traded for the guy at the plate, Paul Goldschmidt. Remember, Kelly originally a third baseman, and then made the transition to the catcher spot. 6-game hitting streak here for Paul Goldschmidt. Multi-hit games in 5 of the 6. Shallow center. May get down, it will. Tommy Edman read it perfectly. Now on his way to third. Throw is high, and he's in there. Tremendous base running, Tommy Edman.
Paul Goldschmidt is able to muscle this thing into center field. Gets in on his hands. You can see the run right there, but as strong as Paul is. And then look at Tommy Edman. He sees it up. He knows where the outfielder is. Also knows the arms that are out there in the outfield. Takes a chance. The Cardinals are better than any team in baseball at that. Just taking that extra base.
Hitting streak now at 7 for Goldie. Runners at the corners, and here is Tyler O'Neill. First pitch is a strike. Castellanos was coached by Brent Strom in Houston in 2020. And Strom was in the Cardinals organization for a number of years, and he is now the pitching coach with the Diamondbacks. The 0-1.
He said he got home for about a day, and he said, well, I don't like this. I don't like this retirement thing. I'm going to go ahead and find myself another job.
The teams were wanting him to be a part of it.
Well, make no mistake, Strom being there and this rotation doing what they're doing right now, those two things absolutely coincide.
And the 1-1 pitch. 1-2 on Tyler O'Neill. Cardinals have stolen 15 bases without being caught. That's their longest streak since last September. Paul Goldschmidt currently leads all major league players 18 consecutive steals without being caught. He's at first, Edman at third. Just off the plate. 2-2. Big gap left center for Tyler O'Neill. His average has dipped to 186. One home run that was on opening day. The 2-2 stays away. Full count. Well, do you want to start Paul Goldschmidt? Do you feel comfortable enough that O'Neill does not strike out? Puts the ball in play. And that's some of the options and the things that you have to think about if you're Ollie. The 3-2 not running, and it's fouled back. So Nolan Arenado did receive a 2-game suspension, but I'm sure they're going to probably take a look at that and see, well, should we fight it? Should we make sure that we appeal this? And that's why he is in this lineup tonight.
Yeah, certainly. Absolutely. He's appealing it. You go in there, and I'm sure that they want to talk about how nothing has happened really to the other side.
Took something off it, and O'Neill pops it up right side. Near the Cardinal dugout, out of play.
That's the one right there. Tyler O'Neill, you could just tell he's a little bit off, because last year that was the ball he was driving. That breaking ball up in the zone. He was able to see that well and hit it the other way. There's only one guy in baseball that's pulling the ball more than Tyler O'Neill, and that was the leadoff hitter. That was Dalton Varsho. Only guy that pulls the ball more than Tyler does. I want to see him stay on that ball, drive it the other way.
And it's interesting, the outfield, and that's Varsho in center, shading him a bit towards right center. 3-2, and he goes to right. Lined, caught by Smith. Edman tagging. 1-0 St. Louis. RBI number 11 for Tyler O'Neill.
Ask and you shall receive, Dan.
Yes.
He gets one, lets it travel, drives it the other way, and drives in a run. Gets something going early on for this Cardinal offense. There is no reason that this offense cannot be relentless. Scoring early, scoring off. They scored in 5 different innings yesterday. A 5 spot in the 4th inning was the big one, but that's how this offense should be.
The National League's leader in slugging, OPS. He's second in batting average, 375. 4th in home runs. 2nd in runs batted in. An MVP type start for Nolan Arenado. Again, he is appealing the 2-game suspension from the bench's clearing yesterday.
He's also first in the league in pushing around catchers.
That was really good.
I mean, what a move that was. Good swing move there on Tomas Nido.
Well, then you have Stubby Clapp, who is 75 pounds at a disadvantage to the big first baseman, the polar bear in New York, and yet he was able to corral him.
I wouldn't even say able to corral him. I would just say controlled the situation.
Oh, he did.
That's right.
Here's a 1-1. I asked Ollie, I said, now, did you get him like a WWE or wrestling belt, you know, get a buckle, something, make a special presentation for Stubby? And he said, you know what? I should have done that. We should have done that.
We're going to get on Amazon. We're gonna send one down there.
We can take care of that. Here's a 1-2 way outside. 2-2 on Nolan Arenado. So it was Stubby Clapp getting there with Pete Alonso. No suspensions, by the way, for the Mets.
Really driving with the legs there.
Well, you analyze everything.
Well, low center of gravity. Stubby just utilizing his leverage.
Good positioning.
Really was.
Yeah.
You see that technique too with the grip. He wasn't letting go. More reach than we thought he had.
But you're analyzing everything. You are really good.
I watched this video more than anything yesterday.
The 2-2. And a full count on Nolan Arenado. Castellanos and his wife just had a baby girl, and he was reinstated from the paternity list to make his third start tonight. Joined the rotation back on April 17th. He replaced Caleb Smith, who was sent to the bullpen and then optioned to AAA. 3-2 pitch. They start the runner. Arenado pulls it foul. This right-hander is from Mexico. Second season with Arizona, and claimed off of waivers from the Houston Astros. Goldie, the runner at first. He's running again, and that's hit out of play.
With Castellanos, you would think that with pitching coach Brent Strom having over there with Houston, if he says, hey, let's pick this guy up, the front office said, yeah, let's do it. He's been a good pickup. Swing guy, pitches out of the pen, can start 4 different pitches.
And the 3-2. Arenado hits it sharply to short. Backhanded. Ahmed throw offline and heads up, base running again. The little things the Cardinals doing on the base paths here in this bottom of the first.
Details matter. Details matter. You got 1 out right now. He goes out there and sees that deep in the hole. You know Nick Ahmed's got to make a long throw, and Goldie keeps on moving. Sees the play right in front of him, slows up, and then takes off. Now you are right. It's just those little things. Now all of a sudden he spikes a breaking ball. You've got a 2-0 lead.
Designated hitter is Corey Dickerson tonight. And Brent Strom already coming out to visit Castellanos. If not for Tommy John, we'd be calling it Strom surgery. He was the second to have what is now known as Tommy John surgery. He had that performed and came back. And right now Castellanos is getting an earful. I was talking to those that knew Brent when he was with the Cardinals, and they said, well, he'd come into meetings. We're talking about different pitchers that we have in the system. Everybody's got an opinion, but he made sure his opinion was known. In other words, wasn't shy.
You can't be. If you believe in what you believe, and you know you've put in the work, and you know you have an eye for what you do, which Brent Strom absolutely does, you should be vocal. And any organization, by the way, should want you that way.
So 1 out and 2 on. Dickerson this year has 6 hits, and he's made the most of them. He's driven in 6. 5 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Cardinals have a sac fly and an RBI off the bat of Tyler O'Neill. 1-0 as Dickerson hits a fly ball out to Varsho in center. Goldschmidt tagging up, and no throw. He'll score easily. 2-0 St. Louis.
Way to run him back.
This is just some good baseball. Manufacturing runs. We saw this a little bit yesterday in the ball game against the Mets. As you mentioned, no home runs. It's been in a little bit of a drought. You don't have to hit home runs to win ball games. Situational hitting, great base running.
And it seems like Dylan Carlson is starting to pick it up. 7 for his last 23. That includes 3 walks. He was 2 for 3 with a walk yesterday, and the quite memorable outfield assist from center field. So runner at first. And Dylan on the first pitch pops it up. Shortstop Nick Ahmed under it, and he'll make the catch. Cardinals pick up a pair. They strand a runner. Good start. Here in game 1, it's 2-0.
Go ahead, Jim.
Plenty of fireworks between the Cardinals and Mets yesterday. No question about it. In the clubhouse today, Cardinal players were basically trying to move past it, but they did say they think it might give the Cards a little spark. Harrison Bader told me Nolan felt a certain way about a pitch, and I don't blame him. If he feels that way, then I feel that way. DC feels that way. Yachty feels that way, so let's go. I'm not going to make more of it than what it was. It's part of the game. But having that kind of fight over the course of 162 games is conducive to winning. Danny, Harrison said you back up your guy and then you move on. So the Cardinals are trying to move on.
All right, Jimmy, as always, good stuff. Thank you. Kind of 1 ball in 1 strike on Seth Beer, designated hitter. And that is taken a bit high. Grabbed a lot of headlines opening day. Had a walk-off homer against the Padres. And since then, he's gone 13 for 45, no home runs. It was part of the Zach Greinke deal in 2019. And a fly ball lifted out to deep left field, backing up Tyler O'Neill, and he'll make the catch. So Hudson gets the first out. Download the MLB app and you'll get video highlights, pitch by pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your St. Louis Cardinals. Ketel Marte is over his last 19 and 10 for 70 to start the year. 20 strikeouts, so off to a slow start. He was their MVP last year. Hit .318, 14 home runs, and drove in 50.
I'm not going to be fooled by the slow start. This guy is a really good player.
He can flat out play. I'm with you. Shallow right, and coming in to make the catch, it's Corey Dickerson. You can hear it up here immediately. In. It's the sound off the bat. And sometimes it's a big swing and you think, uh-oh, got to break back. You see it all the time. But the infielders see it right away and start screaming to help you out.
Communication is key.
Carson Kelly 4 for 42. 0.95 average and a strike. There's 1 extra base hit. No RBI. 16 strikeouts in 15 games. The former St. Louis Cardinal in 3 years hit .154. Had a very good season last year and then dealt with some injuries. But he was one of the top hitting catchers for a while in the National League.
Well, he was a guy that hit every level in the minor leagues. A good trade for him. I mean, Carson Kelly, there's been a guy back behind the plate for quite some time.
And a grounder hit left side. Nolan Arenado makes the play, and a 1-2-3 for Dakota Hudson. Coming up for St. Louis, 7, 8, 9. Bader, Molina, and DeYoung. Haas, strained oblique, and the former Cardinal Luke Weaver dealing with a flexor strain on the 10-day injured list. Tyler Holton was just called up, the left side of their bullpen, and also Luis Frias, a right-hander, he was at it as well. Wendelken scratched before the game along with Tyler Gilbert, left-handed reliever. Harrison Bader hitting .226. No home runs, and he's driven in 2. And the first pitch to him is taken for a strike. Castellanos' second season with Arizona. And the 0-1. Flips it up there, and a base hit into right field. Good to see Bader go the other way. Now O'Neill went the other way too, against that breaking pitch that it's almost like a frisbee he throws.
Yep, that's it, and that is the key, and it's staying back. It's very easy on this pitch to get way too big, and you try to drive it out of the ballpark. Not the case here for Harrison Bader.
And the batter will be Yadier Molina. It was double number 401 for Yadi yesterday. 4th most now in franchise history. Also scored his 759th run. And that's 17th best in Cardinals history. 1 run scored shy of tying Cardinals Hall of Famer Willie McGee. Willie had to take over at first after Stubby Clapp was ejected. They found Willie a helmet, and he looked right at home.
And then what happened as soon as he came out of the dugout?
Well, that's my favorite part of it. Everybody's watching the fight. People are mad, booing, and then right where Willie is situated in the dugout, he hops out in the play. Whoa, boo! Wait, it's Willie! Yeah, Willie. Everybody started clapping. The whole section. Truly is one of the most popular athletes in sports history in this town. I've told the story before. I was emceeing Whitey Herzog's golf tournament, and he said, more so than, let's say, Ozzie, Big Mac in his heyday, Lou Brock, Stan the Man, you name him. He said the most popular player, I really believe this, is Willie McGee. Knocked down, Perdomo stays with it and out, and again heads up base running. Bader goes from second to third.
I mean, it is unreal what these guys are doing on the bases right now. Taking advantage of every little thing that comes their way. This is heads up. This is smart. This isn't just raw speed that Harrison Bader has. We know that he's got it. But as soon as this ball is bobbled, he makes the throw. Harrison is watching this play the entire way, and he takes off.
To third, plus base running play for the Cardinals in this ball game. And now it's DeYoung, 3 hits in his last 32 plate appearances.
You want to talk about making the game exciting. You talk about Whitey Herzog. Think about the speed on the base paths and just taking. Well,
He'd love this.
Oh, yeah, he would. He's probably watching right now.
Infield is in, and the 1-0 pitch to Paul DeYoung. Pulled foul. I'm talking to Ollie before the game today, and just trying to get a feel of where is DeYoung mentally, and he said that's the good thing. He said right now there's some mechanical issues with the swing, clearly, but he said mentally he's hanging with it, and that's all you can ask. The 1-1. There were times the last couple of years you'd watch Paul and you think, boy, he just looks defeated.
Yeah.
He says he has not gotten that point. We're not going to let him get to that point.
No, and Paul has talked about it as well. He talked about it last year. He would just let things get to him too much. He's still putting in the work. He's still trying to make it happen, and they're trying to give him the runway to let him do so.
And the 1-2 is fouled back. Rain falling right now at Busch Stadium. Not a hard rain, but nevertheless, a little rainfall here at the ballpark. Infield in, 1-2 the count. And that hit him. And no offer of a swing. And so Bader will go back to third. And that hits DeYoung, and he'll be at first base. On a 1-2 pitch. They got the elbow. That's when you know it could be really tough if you swing and then get hit by the pitch. That's when things are not going well.
Yeah, well, that had a lot of run on that sinker, too. And you saw Paul right there. No reaction at all. He said, I'll take my base. Let's do this. He helped his team win somehow, some way.
There's Tommy Edman. Walked and scored in the first. Excellent base running on a bloop hit to center. Went to second to see if he'd be caught. Realized it wasn't. Went to third. And a base running by Paul Goldschmidt. An infield hit went to second. Normally on that type of play, you stop, you wind up at third. And then in this inning, Bader on a ground ball to third goes to third base from first as Edman lines it into left field. Base hit, 3-0 Cardinals. That'll score Bader. And Tommy Edman drives in his 10th of the year. Brad, there was concerns about hitting from that side of the plate for Tommy Edman. Well, right now he has an OPS coming into play tonight of 900 against right-handed pitching.
And he stays on this changeup, shoots it the other way. Just good hitting. That's what this is. The Cardinals come in today with what appears to be a very good approach here against Castellanos. Letting the ball travel, hit it where it's pitched. Another good base running, end up scoring on it.
And now it's Paul Goldschmidt with 2 runners on. He's hit 3 home runs against his former team. It's a career high for him, 17 straight games without a home run. It's the longest home run drought to begin a season in his career. But with that single back in the first, he's now 13 for his last 27. 8 years in Arizona and reached the 10 years of Major League service last year with the Cardinals, which is a massive milestone in this game. The 2-0 ripped out to left. Goldie will bring in another, and it's 4-0 St. Louis. Goldschmidt 2 for 2.
Castellanos trying to sneak that sinker by, but it ends up middle in on Goldie. 109.8 miles an hour off the bat. Probably didn't have to tell you that. You heard it. Just loud noises right now coming from the Cardinals offense. We were hoping that you'd see a little carryover from yesterday. 15 hits, scored 10 runs, but can they do it again? So far, so good.
And again, first to third on a base hit to left, and now it's Tyler O'Neill. O'Neill, another line drive, this one to center. Marshall with the catch. Runner tags from third base to score. Tommy Edman, 5-0 St. Louis.
Cardinals putting on a base running clinic and just putting on a strategic baseball clinic right now.
Absolutely.
3 sack flies so far in this game.
So O'Neill with 2 more driven in, he's up to 12. So Brad, yesterday, as you mentioned, the 15 hits, 10 runs, 7 different players scored a run. 8 had at least 1 hit. 5 drove in at least a run. And what they did with runners in scoring position is what stood out. They were 8 for 18. But coming into game 3 yesterday in the series, 2 for 19. A big swing and a miss. So they improved in that area, and that was a difference maker. Runners in scoring position. Arenado with an infield hit his first time up. He's talking to Nolan about his stance today in the clubhouse and what he does with his feet. He pops it up here. May drop. And over to make the catch, it's Pavin Smith. We'll try to take a look at how he balances in his next at bat. Interesting, and who he learned it from. Good start for the Birds. T-Mobile coverage cam. Rain falling a bit. Brad Thompson, Jim Hayes, Dan McLaughlin with you, and the Cardinals with a 5-0 lead. Cardinals went past 50 million fans tonight here at Busch Stadium 3. And that's a new major league record for the fewest dates needed to hit that mark. And the previous mark was set by the Giants at Oracle Park. Cardinals beat that. The tremendous fan support year in and year out. First pitch, a strike delivered by Dakota Hudson. It's Nick Ahmed. Then Perdomo, 8-9-1. Varsho, the leadoff man. Third inning here at Busch. And the 0-1 taken outside.
So your team just gives you 3 runs. They're firing offensively right now. I want to get them back in there as soon as possible for Dakota. Going back to our key of the game for him, just attack. Go right after the bottom of this order.
Ground ball slowly hit, charging DeYoung. Throw up the line, the tag there by Goldie. And the first out here in the top half of the third. Nice play by Goldschmidt. You always worry about those tags with the right-handed throwing first baseman. They sweep it with the left hand. Dangerous.
Yeah, you could jam that wrist, hurt your hand. Good job there, though. And I know the throw brought him up the line, but that was a slow hit ball. Nice play by Paul as well.
So DeYoung. One out and nobody on, and here's Perdomo.
Let me get my Pauls mixed up.
It is strike. Perdomo, switch hitter, hitting 189. Third baseman tonight for Torey Lovullo. Cardinals come in with a record of 10-7. Arizona 8-11 after just a horrific season a year ago. Got off to a decent start, but then they had 2 months that were historically bad.
Oh, you think the Cardinals June was bad, huh, Cardinal fans?
Oh boy. Arizona in May went 5-24. Then June 3-24. 64 players used, franchise record. It was second only to the Cubs. They had a major league record 69. But they did use 28 rookies, second most in the majors in one season since 1998. And you have to go head to head with the Giants and the Dodgers, 2 of the best teams playing in your division. They had a total of 5 wins against those teams. They went 3-16 against LA, 2-17 against the Giants, 1-6 head to head with the Cardinals. So it was a tough year any way you look at it for Arizona. 3-2 pitch. And the second walk issued by Hudson. Quick word from BOS.
You're moving up in the world. You deserve a bank that can keep up with your changing needs. It's time to make the bold move. BOS. Bank boldly.
Dalton Varsho fly to center first time up. So last year Diamondbacks lose 110, but that's not the worst season they've had. It's 111 set back in 2004, and that was only 3 years after they won the World Series against the Yankees in 01.
I couldn't imagine going through a stretch like that. I couldn't. Like, you were just rattling off the stats from last year. They went 8-50 in 2 months.
Yes. And you know, in baseball, that's tough to do. I mean, you can have a good game with your starter that night, picks you up a win when you least expect it, but that didn't happen. The key injuries. Since 1920, there's only 5 teams that have not lost 100 games. The Cardinals, one of them. And the most losses they have had in a season since 1920, it was 93 in 1978. Led by Al Raboski. Hope Al is in a suite and handing out autograph cards and didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah, probably is.
Yeah.
Al was up here earlier. Oh, he's right behind you. That's embarrassing.
Uh-oh. The 2-1 pitch, shift on the right side. And it's 2-2.
Just quickly going back to that bad June, if you will, for the Cardinals last year. Incredible September. To put it in context, that bad June for the Cardinals, 10-17 was the record. 8-50 in May and June for the Diamondbacks. So the key is, if you're the Diamondbacks, if you're the front office, if you're Torey Lovullo, what do you learn? What do you learn from this? What do you learn about your players? How do you build from there? And that was why they gave him a contract extension last year. So, all right, you're the guy. Now what do we do? How do we build it up? I think he's done a good job with what he's been given. Mike Hazen, their GM, said that too when they gave him the extension. Say, I realize what he has, how we've been operating. We've been trying to rebuild, and we believe that Torey is the guy.
Madison Bumgarner will go tomorrow against Adam Wainwright. That should be a fun matchup here at the ballpark. The check swing did not go. And the count runs full, so you've got 46 pitches, Brad, already to get 7 outs for Dakota Hudson.
Yeah, a lot of 3-ball counts throughout the night. And to me, and it's not like he's trying to fall behind in any of these counts, but this just is not the lineup to pick. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be on the corners. Sinker could be down in the zone anywhere, have success.
See if they start the runner. They do not. Down 5-0, and a swing and a miss. A strikeout for Hudson, and that is number 2 tonight.
It's a good hard slider in from Dakota Hudson. We told you about Varsho in his first at bat. He likes the ball away from him. He still pulls it. He has a tough time getting to that pitch on the inner half of the strike zone. And a nice tight slider.
Here's Pavin Smith. And Smith hits it out to center. Spun around was Bader. Back. Leaps. Oh, he caught it! Crashing up against the wall. Harrison Bader. What a play in center. Spun around. Crashing up against the wall. Nicely done as he holds on. Congratulations, he has officially retired. Via his Instagram post, he said, I've had enough. And a very good player. Originally selected second round in 06 out of the University of Miami. He played in 757 games with the Cardinals. World champion in 2011, part of the nationally champions in 13. And a very, very solid player in 12 major league seasons. Part of that Memphis Mafia, David Freese, Descalso, Craig, and Jay. And his last team, Brad, was the Angels. It's pretty neat what he did, as we have a new pitcher in, and that is Corbin Martin. So 2 innings for Castellanos, 5 runs, 5 hits. No strikeouts, walked 1, and hit a man. No home runs allowed. And here is Corey Dickerson. And what he did, he had a chance to stay with the Angels. I was talking with John last year about this and be on their active roster. He had a big league job and could have played the entire year out with the Angels. They had a spot for him. But they also knew his love of country. And so members of his family had defected from Cuba, and he said by their sacrifices in getting here to the United States, it's given me the ability to become a big league player, and I've never forgotten that. And so Team USA wants me to play in the Olympics. And he said, I'm going to give up my big league job and go be part of the Team USA Olympics, because that USA on the front of the jersey means a lot to me and my family, and that's how I want to finish it.
Special.
It's awesome.
That is special. Congratulations to John Jay. I only had a chance to play with him in the minor leagues in 2009, but admired his big league career, loved how he went about his business. Another one of those guys that always, he played the game the right way, and he did it with a smile on his face. Like, John Jay was just one of those good guys to be around, have on a ball club. So congratulations to him.
That's how I describe it. Good guy.
Yep.
Obviously very good player to be in the big leagues for 12 seasons, but good guy. Just texted with him yesterday and told him congratulations, and he seems to be at peace with it and excited. He's got a young family, married a St. Louis girl, so he's in St. Louis a lot. And many years ago, he invited me to go down to Miami, and we brought a camera crew. I guess one. It was Craig Wilson, who works at our video department here with the Cardinals, and he said, I want to show you where I grew up and how this happened. As Dickerson pops it up left side. Perdomo, third baseman there in foul territory, and he took us to the Boys and Girls Club, which A-Rod was very involved with that. They have rehabbed it. They've made it a really neat place for young kids to go play basketball, baseball, all the different sports. But he said, I basically spent my entire life as a young kid at this boys club. And he took me to the coach that put him under his wing. And he was so proud of him. I get goosebumps thinking about it. But it was really neat to go see that in the house he grew up in. Met some of his family. They're just neat people.
That is cool. And it's neat to see how something is built, right? See the love of it and where it all happens.
A strike to Dylan Carlson. Well, he had the throw from center in yesterday's game. And Bader's got the defensive play of the game in center tonight, crashing up against the wall.
Well, Harrison was probably saying, man, I feel left out. Had him the day off, or at least early on. He came into the game late playing center field, but Dylan had the big throw. The play before, 2 plays before, it was Tyler O'Neill that had a big throw, gunning down the runner at second base.
He had 2 outfield assists in the same inning yesterday.
Yep.
It's not shocking when you look at what Bader brings to the Cardinals defensively. When he was out of the lineup last year, the Cardinals just were not a better team. Now you could say, okay, he's hitting coming into play tonight 226, and obviously he wants that to be better, but what he does defensively in settling everything else down. So last year he's hurt, then you got to put Carlson in center. Edman was in right, so his presence has been big. And it's taken just a bit low.
Yeah, and I have no reason to believe that the offensive numbers aren't going to be there for him. We've seen him grow offensively the last 2 years, just really working on his game and knowing his swing and making those adjustments.
3-2 the count, and the next to Carlson. The strikeout, and the first of the night for Corbin Martin. Well, we have a moment. Quick word from St. Louis Children's.
St. Louis Children's Hospital, the only place where Washington University physicians have gathered from across the globe, discovering and developing life-changing treatments for kids.
Since the beginning of 2018, and that's when we saw Bader really starting to take that everyday role in center field. Leads all outfielders in defensive runs saved, outs above average, runs prevented, and third in defensive WARs. So any way you want to look at it, analytically, he's at the top of the list.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can make your case for him for best defensive player in baseball.
The 1-0 pitch. I just saw Nolan Arenado glare up from the dugout right at you, Brett.
I said you can make your case. I didn't say that he was going to be the only one in this case.
And there was Goldie, too. He was upset. I saw that.
Be a 3-man race. They're all on the same team. Is that a bad thing?
Tyler O'Neill was kind of upset. Saw that, too. And then Yachty,
okay,
he screamed up here, too. I mean, nice job, Brad.
Well, I'm not trying to upset the boys here. All I'm trying to do is pump one of them up after he makes a great play.
Look at Yachty. He's upset.
You know, you can easily make a case for that guy to be defensive player of the year. Best defender.
And Bader just looked up at us.
You know, you can't make everybody happy. That's what I'm trying to learn in this job.
No truer words have been spoken. Willie, yeah, he's on. You're okay with Willie. He's on par with you.
Oh, look, Willie works with the whole group.
That's right.
Has his hands in everything that's happening, especially in that outfield.
Nick Ahmed off balance throw to get Bader. And a 1-2-3 for Martin. We played 3. Rainy Busch Stadium, and it's 5-0. Regular season finale at 6:30 right here on Bally Sports Midwest. Cardinals play the Diamondbacks at 6:30 on Bally Sports Midwest Extra. Both games stream on the Bally Sports app. Now, Brad, I know you've learned an awful lot over the years from Al Hrabosky, whether it be pitching, nightlife, broadcasting. He's been instrumental in your life.
Sure has.
That right there is affectionately known as the Hrabosky.
Yeah, he told me about that.
That was the only thing he said that they did for the pitcher since 1968. And then he had the little footnote, and Dan, it doesn't work. And I said, okay, thank you, Al. He said, you got to have the old-fashioned tongue depressor. That will work, but not that behind the mound. And they just replaced it.
Well, Dakota's using it right now, and it appeared to work for him. And maybe, like everything else, maybe it's gotten a little bit better over the years. You know, maybe they've really made some drastic improvements to the Hrabosky.
And the first pitch, taken for a ball down and in. You think Al's going to be happy with us tomorrow when he comes in?
That's doubtful.
Yeah. David Peralta at the plate. Peralta walked his first time up and grounds it fair, taken there by Goldschmidt. Hudson to the bag for the out. Saturday, May 14th, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older take home a Busch Stadium exclusive Cardinals purse. Navy handbag, gold medal logo on the front. Many upgraded components. Cardinals.com/promotions. Christian Walker struck out his first time up. Well, he's got that natural movement, doesn't he, Dakota Hudson?
It's a good slider right there. It's just tight, late breaker. So you think about that as a hitter, you're getting ready for that arm side run in the sink, and then you get that tight slider away.
Check swing, and he went. 0-2. The 0-2 swing and a miss and a strikeout for Dakota Hudson, and that is number 3.
Pretty good sequence right there. Started him out with the good hard slider, then a breaking ball at the bottom of the zone, got the check swing. And I love this, okay? Instead of messing around with a non-competitive pitch, bouncing one, and then you end up throwing more pitches, starts this thing in the zone, busted under. It was a perfect pitch right there by Dakota.
Well, yesterday, Mats went 4, and then it was the St. Louis bullpen. Whitford, Cabrera, Helsley. Again, to Genesis, Cabrera has been suspended for a game, serving that suspension tonight after the brawl yesterday against the Mets. Arizona 8-11, last place in the West, 5 games back of the Giants. However, just took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers, and they've won 5 of 8. Another ground ball. Goldie's got it. Takes it to the bag for the out. Quick inning for Dakota Hudson, and he is settled in. Sports Midwest brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals, and by St. Louis Children's. Only St. Louis Children's, Missouri's #1 pediatric hospital. The second inning for the right-hander Corbin Martin. His longest outing this year has been 4 innings in relief. That was against San Diego. He went 74 pitches in that ball game. His last time out was 4 days ago against the Mets, an inning, and it only took 6 pitches. So he's well rested coming into this appearance, and there's a foul ball off the bat of Yadier Molina to start play in the home half of the 4th. 5-0 Cardinals. 0-2 the count. Yachty hit a ground ball and a little tricky hop at the end to the third baseman Perdomo with Bader at first. If he fields it cleanly, it turns into 2. Instead, he knocked it down. He got Yachty, and Bader heads up, got to second, and then raced to third. And that led to a run for St. Louis, and they've been going first to third all night. A ball and 2 strikes. Talk about the extra base, and 4 out of 5 times Cardinals have had the opportunity. They have done that. They've done it this season 49% of the time. League average is 43%.
It is incredible.
And that's a base hit from Molina. The at-bats the last couple of days for Yachty are much better. And he's 1 for 2 tonight.
Well, you've noticed that Martin is around the zone. He's not messing around. This is a fastball middle down. Yachty just shoots it right back up the middle, gets something going again. Cardinals had a really good approach against the starter tonight for the Diamondbacks, Humberto Castellanos. Now looking to get a feel for Martin here, who is just all around the zone. Be ready right here.
Fouled back by DeYoung. Martin grew up in Texas, Hempstead, Texas, which is about 50 miles northwest of Houston. And do you know what Hempstead, Texas is known for?
I know exactly what Hempstead, Texas is known for. It's for their watermelon crop.
Exactly right. DeYoung, base hit into center. And Yachty will stop at second base. Back-to-back singles. Yeah, that town was the top shipper of watermelons in the U.S. in the 1940s. They have this huge festival in July. Brings thousands of people.
They have the contest where you can spin the seed the farthest. This one's a seed right here from Paul DeYoung. He needed that one. 95 off the bat.
You sure about that?
Yeah, positive.
Really?
Yeah, look it up.
All right.
All kinds of watermelon related activities at that festival.
No kidding.
Yeah. They also have the catapults where you put them in there and just boom, you shoot them. See who can get the furthest distance.
Wonder if Gallagher ever made an appearance. Special guest for that watermelon festival.
You know what? That is a bit of information I don't have, but
Okay.
I'd like to believe it has happened. Or maybe they're anti-Gallagher. Like they could be like, hey, look,
we don't need
really,
this.
We really like these things.
Yeah.
That flies in the face of the catapult thing, but
That you heavily researched.
I'm just picturing it in my head. I know what happened.
0-2 the count on Tommy Edman. His on base percentage well above 400. Walked and scored back in the first. Picked up a run batted in on a single and scored again. The changeup taken low in the dirt. 1-2. Martin started his professional career with Houston, big Astros fan, and found his way to Arizona. All of 2020 he was at their alternate training site, and then first season with the Diamondbacks last year at 5 appearances, 3 starts. Season was shut down about midway through. He had an elbow issue and has made the club now early goings of this season.
I still don't think that we've seen around baseball, or maybe we just don't know what to look for, the ramifications of that missed 2020 season. I mean, the lucky few were at these summer camps, these alternate sites, but in large part you have minor leaguers at home working jobs.
Fouled back. Talked to Ben Johnson. He is the manager with the Memphis Redbirds the other day, and I said, are you seeing any kind of pattern with these guys? And the one thing he said, and it's obvious, he said if you're coming back from injury or you had a heavy workload as a pitcher, may not be the worst thing.
Yeah.
He said for position players, the jury's still out.
You know how this game is.
It's a year of development.
Yeah, you know how the game is too. It's a year of development, and it's a year. Okay, it's a year where a lot of things are based off of age. You're lucky to break into big leagues, but then you hit free agency and teams are like, oh, well, he's 30 now. Yeah, but I didn't play a full year.
3-2 pitch. Edman hits it to second, backhanded, and they'll turn 2 for 6-3. Yachty advancing to third on the play. So double play off the bat of Tommy Edman, started by Marte, Ahmed, then Walker. Yesterday, speaking of Memphis, back at it again. Nolan Gorman goes 4 for 5. Couple of home runs, drove in 4. The majority of his home runs have been solo. He's got 10 home runs this year, and he's driven in 15.
How about those hands? How quick those things are. I've seen him drive a couple of home runs the other way as well, putting up big numbers. And the cool part about this, you know how disappointed Nolan Gorman likely was coming out of spring. Had an opportunity to make the ball club, just struggled in spring. Ollie talked about the fact that he was just pressing in those games. Well, you can go down and pout, or you can go down and put up numbers, and that's exactly what he's done.
That's what he said about his spring training too. The idea was, and everybody knew it, if he had a great spring, great shot to make the club. Yep. And he said it was like watching a guy that knew that and then put a lot of pressure on himself and didn't let his true abilities come out.
Don't you think that's a good thing for a young player to learn, though? Like, you get in that situation.
Chop towards second, and Marte makes the play in a game that is built around failure as well. How do you deal with it? It's 5-0 St. Louis.
Tonight because of a minor toe issue, but that throw he made from center yesterday, gunning down a guy at third with a 97-mile-an-hour photon torpedo, may have opened some eyes about how good he is defensively. Dylan told me O'Neill has a Gold Glove, Bader has a Gold Glove. He'd like 1 too. He said, no doubt, it's definitely motivation seeing those guys and what they've accomplished, and watching the way they put in the work has really helped me a lot. And Danny Ollie Marmol told me a Gold Glove is on Dylan's radar, and I think he'll get one.
Throws like that certainly help, and you get the exposure of people seeing that. Maybe they take a harder look at you. Remember, the Gold Gloves are voted on inside the game now, so it's not the popularity contest that it once was when you had those offensive numbers guys getting Gold Gloves. It's truly a defensive award the way it's supposed to be.
Name one example. No, never mind, don't do that, of an offensive guy winning a Gold Glove. But I like hearing a young player talk about that.
Sure.
I like hearing a young player focusing on defense, or focusing on the total game. All too often we get caught up in our offensive numbers. How many home runs did I hit? Forget that. How do you help your team in every way? Good spot. That's exactly where you want to put that pitch.
That's a strike.
I don't know how you missed that.
2-1 the count on Marte. Hitless in his last 20 at bats. Cardinals shift on the right side as we start play here in this 5th inning, and Marte, a little check swing, rolled up the first base line, and Hudson will tag him out. Nurses Appreciation Games return on May 11th and 12th, and the purchase of a special themed ticket for either game, you receive a Nurses themed Cardinals cap. For more information, purchase tickets, visit cardinals.com/theme.
You mentioned it before. Dakota looks to be settling in. He's retired 11 of the last 12 batters, an 8-pitch 4th inning. That was something that he really needed.
And a strike to Carson Kelly. ...2018, Hudson made his debut, worked out of the bullpen. And since that time, he's got the 4th highest ground ball percentage, nearly 60% in baseball. The 5th in ground ball fly ball ratio.
The thing about Dakota, as much as we talk about how good his sinker is, his slider's really good too, and his curveball is really good, and he'll mix in a changeup. He is a pitcher. He knows what he's doing out there, so you can't just sit on the sinker and think, all right, well, I'm going to be able to jump all over him, because that's not the case. He'll carve you up.
The 2-1. Good pitch. running in on the hands of Kelly.
I like the command we're seeing with his fastball to both sides of the plate. That right there on Kelly. We saw him do the same thing just a second ago to Ketel Marte.
1-2 the count. The next by Hudson. Swing and a miss, held on to by Molina. Strikeout number 4 for Dakota Hudson. Brad, you said from the onset he gets better as we go along, and that is the case right now with Dakota.
It is, and sometimes for the sinker ball guys, it takes a minute to figure out exactly where your release point is, how much the ball is going to move. That one not a sinker, good slider, but he's starting to feel it a little bit. Moving fast, working quick.
Here's Nick Ahmed, grounded to short. I always liked this player, Brad. Defensively, very good. Two-time Gold Glover. And he's been around for a while as the transition has happened with Arizona. Hudson is through 5. 10-pitch inning. And it's 5-0 St. Louis. Been put together by the best. Brian McCann working in our truck. BJC Healthcare difference maker, and the Cardinals Edmund Goldie Bader. First to third, you love that. But then you got to score, and that trio did it.
Little things create big dividends. That was the case there. Good base running, aggressive, smart base running, turned into 3 runs. That'll keep a smile on his face.
Absolutely, and it's Tyler O'Neill, then Arenado and Dickerson. O'Neill is lined out to center, lined to right, and both fly balls resulting in runs coming in. Shift on the left side. Hits it down the right field line, and that'll slice foul and out of play.
Home runs are so 2021, Dan. It's all about manufacturing now. First to third, sac flies. That's where the game's trending.
I wouldn't mind it.
Wouldn't either. It's been entertaining.
2 sac flies tonight, and he's got 4 this year. That's his career high. It looks like he's staying back and being, at least looking at him, you know, the concerted effort of taking the ball to right or going up the middle, not pulling off as much here tonight.
Yeah, you saw it specifically in that first at bat when he shot that line drive to right field.
And he lines it out to left, and that will be caught. Talk about some tough luck. Hit 3 right on the button.
You'll take it. Trend in the right direction.
Quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Choices are never a bad thing, especially when they all look so good. Go ahead, take your time, and find the account that's perfect for you at GreatSouthernBank.com.
Just talking with Nolan, as we mentioned in his first plate appearance, what he does with his legs and his feet. This is not how he began his career. That's hit off the end of the bat into center. He rocks back and forth, and Nolan, why didn't you take a pitch or two and help me out trying to explain your story?
He's always been self-conscious about his feet. He doesn't really want you to talk about them.
You want me to wait? I guess I better wait, huh?
I mean, I'd like to hear about it. But.
Okay. So it's 2015, and he said that pitchers were able to get inside a lot with him. And Tulowitzki pulled him aside and said, you had to try to find something to get the bat going on inside pitches, a trigger. And so he rocks forward, rocks back, and then you see the explosion into the baseball. And a byproduct of that, he said, I started to then generate the backspin on the ball. And so when you have that, it's going to travel further. Started hitting more home runs. And he said, I never ditched it. And I asked him, I said, but when you're going back and forth, sometimes if you get quick pitched or other ways to get you out, that'll be a base hit for Corey Dickerson. You find that you can get jammed. And he said every once in a while, but for the most part, it's really paid dividends because it keeps pitchers honest if they want to come in on me, and I'm able to explode on the baseball.
It creates momentum, creates that timing, and his hands are fast enough that I wouldn't worry too much about him getting caught in between. And that's a really interesting thing about whether it be the mechanics of a swing, the mechanics of a pitcher. Not everything works for everybody. Like somebody could go in there and say, oh, I want to do the feet thing that Nolan does. And then all of a sudden you go 0 for gopher and you're like, oh, okay, I can't do that. Nothing looks right to me, but it works for him.
There's Dylan Carlson. Popped out to short and struck out. But, you know, you're talking about one of the best in the game and adjusting early in his career and realizing what the league was doing to him, and then a wise move to make the adjustment back.
How often do young players get to the big leagues a certain way and then they're so hard-headed that they never move off of their swing or what they're doing, whether it's pitch selection, or you just say, oh, this is how I got here. Yeah, but how do you stay here and how do you evolve? You have to evolve as a player.
Runner at first. Dickerson following the infield hit. 2 balls and no strikes with 2 outs. Cardinals picked up 2 in the first and 3 in the second inning. So roughly a game and a half yesterday and tonight. 15 runs. And Dylan hits it high in the air out to center field. Varsho under it and makes the catch. Cardinals strand their 4th runner of the night. We head to the 6th. St. Louis on top. May 15th features the Wizard Ozzie Smith. Thanks to Coca-Cola and Schnucks. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. A rainy night here in St. Louis. Dakota Hudson had 22 pitches in the first. Then it was 9, 17, and the last 2 a total of 18. Here's Perdomo to start play here in the 6th inning, showing bunt. Hudson has walked 2 tonight. He has struck out 4. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Ground ball pulled to the right side. Tommy Edman. That's the first out here in the 6th. So the lowest average collectively by a team in the month of April, and that is updated. It's at 173 for the Arizona Diamondbacks here in 2022. The Tigers of 03, the Yankees in 68, Philadelphia A's, and the Senators.
A lot of old logos there, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Been a minute.
And the top of the lineup, Varsho, is fly to center and struck out. They're pitching, though, 10th in ERA. Rotation coming into play. 3rd best ERA, only behind the Dodgers and Twins. In their last 12 games, Brad, the rotation, the ERA is 1.93.
It's good.
Yeah.
It is a good group.
But tonight, the Cardinals were able to get to Castellanos early. 2 innings, 5 runs on 5 hits. An extremely good base running. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And the first base hit for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Up in the zone. And a base hit for Varsho with 1 out here in the 6th, and the first hit for Arizona. The Chevy pitch tracks.
The slider, you're trying to tie up Varsho inside. He's got his struggles in there, but just leaves it middle. And now time for another ground ball.
Pavin Smith was robbed by Harrison Bader. The catch of the night back in the 3rd inning, crashing up against the wall in center. And it's up and in. Even the stance is a little bit like our buddy Chris Duncan.
He's thinking the same exact thing. Got the little goatee.
Yeah. Hits from the left side, stands tall. In the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes. Longest that Hudson has carried a no-hitter into a game. And that was in 2019. He got 20 outs against Milwaukee. So with 1 out here in the 6th, he allows his first base hit. Clean single by Varsho to right.
I believe it was 2019. Jack Flaherty had a no-hitter really late against them as well, and I believe it was Jesus Aguilar that broke it up with a home run.
The 2-0 pitch. Always think about the near miss for Michael Wacha.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker.
Ryan Zimmerman at the plate hits a chopper just over the glove of Wacha, and Pete Kozma did everything he could. He was playing short that night, but that's baseball. It was a clean hit. The 2-1 pitch.
Dan, didn't Shelby Miller have a game where he allowed a hit to the first batter of the game?
So that was against Colorado, and it was EY Jr. who had the first hit, and then after that he went 27 up, 27 down. It was just a dominating performance.
Yeah, it was.
3-1 pitch, and that'll be walk number 3 issued by Hudson. Don't miss your chance to get discounted Cardinals tickets, 8 or more gallons of gas at a participating station using the My Phillips 66 app. Get up to 50% off Cardinals tickets. For more info, visit phillips66gas.com/Cardinals. I was working on the radio side when Bud Smith threw his no-hitter in San Diego, and I was working with Mike Shannon that night. Tony Gwynn had been hurt, but still was eligible to come off the bench. Couldn't run all that well, but he could swing the bat.
Yeah.
And he hits an absolute rocket. I believe it was to short Edgar Renteria. And it was late in the game, and Mike and I were talking in between innings, and we thought, well, if he gets Tony Gwynn on that, it's his night. And sure enough, he went the distance. And I remember Tony and Dave Duncan, it was just gnawing at them in a way that they wanted him obviously to get to history. But I think he threw 134 pitches that night. As a young pitcher, they were very cautious with those guys, as you know, to the point that you say, well, in the 7th or the 8th, it wouldn't be the worst thing if he gives up a hit and get him out of there. Backing up, it's Bader. Shy of the track, he'll make the catch, and the throw wisely into the bag at second. Runner tags, and that's Varsho from second to third. While we have a moment, quick word from Tickets for Less.
Tickets for Less, for a better ticketing experience. Best seats, best prices, and no surprises at checkout.
The batter will be Christian Walker. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts tonight.
Just thinking about that Bud Smith no-hitter. Had that happen nowadays, he would have never had a chance to finish that thing. We've seen multiple guys get pulled out of no-hitters this year.
I think it may be more commonplace as we move forward in the game too, where analytics will tell you, well, don't let a starter face a lineup third time through, and then all of a sudden you get this power arm or 2 or 3 coming out of the bullpen, and there's your combined no-hitter.
No, it makes sense. I hate it.
Yeah,
a lot.
The 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Pitch count above 80 now for Hudson. Opposition this year just 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position against the Cardinal right-hander, and with men on, it's 143 the average. A couple of double plays turned behind him. He's got 2 outs here, 2 on, 2 balls and no strikes. And the next to Christian Walker. 3-0. I would think they have to start getting somebody loose fairly quickly here. He's 1 pitch away from his 4th walk and 2nd in the inning. He's given up his first hit this inning. Cardinals would love to stay away from Woodford and Palante, maybe even Ryan Helsley. And with that, Nick Whitgren is up and throwing. 3-0 pitch and a strike. Your scoreless streak in the minor leagues, were you close to a no-hitter?
I had a 1-hitter in believe it was against the Montgomery Biscuits.
The Biscuits.
The Biscuits, that's right. Great logo. But never the no-hitter there.
3-1 pitch and a grounder. Taken by DeYoung. He bobbles and in time with the stretch. Diamondbacks strand a pair. Bader, Molina, DeYoung coming up. Career home run number 350, Giancarlo Stanton. In the Bronx last night, number 350. How about Albert? When did he do it? David Weathers, grand slam. I remember that game, July 3rd of 2009, in a packed house. And if you look to the left here, wait a minute, who is it? It's Brad Thompson.
Well, I knew I was there for that one.
Wow, you really have aged.
I know, right?
Brad, you look the same.
Got a lot of gray now. I still act the same, I'll promise you that.
You're in the dugout there, so did you come in relief? Did you start? I don't remember.
I don't either.
Did you give up a lead? What were you doing?
Look, anything's in play, to be totally honest.
And I noticed that all the other guys are doing the handshakes and hugs and the high fives, and you're just kind of trailing in the background.
We did that out of camera.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we had our special shake.
You and Albert?
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. You wouldn't understand.
Just wouldn't get it, I guess. 6 fastest players to reach 350 home runs in games played. Big Mac, Juan Gonzalez, A-Rod, the killer Harmon Killebrew, Albert Pujols, and then the Babe. Base hit as Bader goes to right. 2-hit night for Harrison Bader.
That's twice going that way, too. Really like to see that. The first one was a hanging breaking ball. That one able to drive a 93-mile-an-hour four-seamer up above the zone that way. I love seeing those graphics, by the way, with Albert next to Babe Ruth. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's what you get to see, or got to see, for 11 years and then back now. The guy who closest in a lot of statistical categories is Babe Ruth.
You think about the 700 home run club. The guys on that very short list of those that have hit 700 home runs, and Albert closing in. He's 19 away. Bonds, Aaron, and Ruth. Runner goes. Pitch taken for a ball. Kelly's throw into center. And Bader will stay put at second base. Stolen base, Harrison Bader. And the Cardinals have been running wild here in the last week or so. So no home runs being hit, but yet first to third or stealing bases.
That's a huge jump right there by Harrison Bader. Got that all on the pitcher.
Chance for Yachty. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. It's the 16th consecutive stolen base without being caught. Ties the Cardinals' longest streak since 1998. And the 1-1. And the only Cardinal that has been caught stealing, he tried to steal third base, is Albert Pujols. That's it.
He thought he had something. Tried to get a jump there. Didn't happen on Brandon Woodruff. I still thought he was going to be safe. I just remembered back a decade before, that guy could do no wrong on the base paths.
He and Oquendo, there would be times we'd say he was running through the stop sign, but that was by design.
Yep.
To throw off the defense. They had a signal that would show Jose trying to hold him up, and yet it really meant, hey, go for it. The 2-2 in on his hands, fouled back. Do you agree that the at-bats from Molina have been a lot better here last couple of days?
Well, the reps matter. It was a shortened spring training anyhow. Yachty showed up late to camp, so he's not seeing all these at-bats. So you got to figure it's going to take a minute for him to get right back into, first of all, just catching shape of being back there every single day, and then just getting the eye back.
The 2-2 pitch to Yadier Molina. Time was called. Boy, is that granted late.
I don't think I've seen a time like that where the umpire doesn't stand up and like move out of the way.
Yeah. 3-2. Hit up the middle. And this will be a base hit for Yadi. Hustling down the line, and Molina has his second hit tonight.
Well, both the hits have been in the same area, right up the middle again for Yadier Molina. That's what you want to see him do.
So Marte keeps that on the infield, and by doing so, Bader is at third, as Yadi is just 2 RBI away from 1,000. He'd be the 7th catcher with 2,000 hits and 1,000 runs batted in. Now it's Paul DeYoung. Sometimes we see Paul with the high leg kick, maybe trying to ease back on just how exaggerated that can get. Infield is in here for DeYoung.
Sometimes you have to simplify some movements.
Was hit by a pitch and a base hit to center, the 0-1. Nothing in 2. So Bader, the stolen base, his 5th. That leads the National League. He's down at third. Molina is at first. And here in the home half of the 6th, there is nobody out. Spoiled by DeYoung. Martin approaching 60 pitches. Came in the 3rd. Relief of Castellanos, the starter for the Diamondbacks tonight. Yadi is running on the 0-2. Throw down to second. And did he stay on the bag? He did. It's a stolen base for Yadier Molina.
Don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep on the mound. That guy will take it. The crowd is going crazy. Look at that jump that Yadi got.
I love it. And a swing and a miss, a strikeout of DeYoung. He's smiling.
You generally peek in, see if he got through, see if he came up with it clean. He's up there grinning ear to ear.
That's great. Tommy Edman on base a couple of times. 1 out. Infield in. Up the middle. Base hit. This will make it 6-0. And even though he is a base stealer, Yadi stays put. Arizona throws it away. Edman winds up at second.
Little details again. And this is something that really bit Arizona last year, was just small defensive gaffes. It would happen over and over again. I know they tried to tweak some things. Base hit up the middle, infield pulled in, broken bat. He's trying to get this ball in. It's a lazy throw in from center field, and Tommy Edman takes care of it.
Boy, that can't happen.
No, Dalton Varsho's got to make a good throw. You got to get the ball in quickly. No throwing on the run and lobbing stuff in.
Diamondbacks go back to their bullpen. Taylor Widener will be the new pitcher, right-hander, coming in for the Arizona bullpen. Cardinals, and not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Taylor Widener, the right-hander, is in, third pitcher for Arizona. That was the 70th career stolen base for Yadier Molina. He's 10 for his last 10.
Of course he is. You pick your spots. You're a wily veteran, okay? You know when to run. He hasn't stopped smiling since.
It's his 35th stolen base here at Busch. He's tied with Albert Pujols, second most in stadium history. Colton Wong is 43. He's number 1.
That's just fun trivia right there.
Great. Now, Yadi did have a stolen base last year when John Gant was on the mound and Mitch Garver was behind the plate against Minnesota. Here's Paul Goldschmidt with runners at second and third. Goldie greets him with a base hit out to left. Yadi will score. Here comes Hedman, and the Cardinals pouring it on here in game number 1 of this 4-game set. It's a 3-hit night for Paul Goldschmidt against his former team.
Taylor Widener said, all right, I'm going to come in, flick a breaking ball in, get ahead. Goldie said, no, you're not. No, you're not. I'm just going to hit this first thing that you throw in there. Head down on it. I love seeing this. Just relentless offense. Good swings in the strike zone. We're not seeing the Cardinals expand much here against the Diamondbacks.
Now Tyler O'Neill with one out, shift on the left side, and a ball. His right-hander is in his 3rd season with the Diamondbacks. He was on the injured list 3 times last year. O'Neill bounces it left side. They'll get the lead man. That's Goldschmidt. And it brings in Nolan Arenado. Arenado tonight, infield hit, fly to right, lined out to center. Short lead at first by O'Neill. 8-0 our score, and a fastball in for a strike. Widener pitched collegiately at the University of South Carolina. It's another ball game in which we have not seen a home run. All 12 hits are singles tonight for the Cardinals, and they've got 8 runs.
I got to tell you, Dan, I'm not missing the long ball from a viewing standpoint. I like this.
Well, I love the first to third and being aggressive, generating the offense because you're kind of forced to. You're not sitting back and waiting for that long ball. And another single, base hit out to left. O'Neill stopping at second base. And Nolan a 2-hit night. He's 2 for 4. Plaza Tire Service pitch tracks.
Another slider, this one more away than the one to Goldie, but Nolan has been covering the entire plate. I really don't know, like, if you're game planning for him, how you go get him. He's laying off tough pitches. He's hitting your best stuff within the zone. Just locked in.
Corey Dickerson Sac fly to center, brought in a run in the first inning. Popped out to third and had an infield hit against the shift. Slowly hit down the third base line. 1 for 2. But very good in this spot. Runners in scoring position. He's got 5 hits already. 5 for 13. Aaron Brooks getting loose, the right-hander for St. Louis. First pitch to Dickerson, taken for a ball. It's the steady rain here at Busch Stadium, basically since the first pitch. So the Cardinals playing in the first of 4 here with Arizona. Kansas City will be here, makeup game on Monday. A ball and a strike on Dickerson. It's out of play. Seven of the 9 Cardinals in their lineup with a hit or a run batted in. The attendance tonight, 33,464. 33464. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Dickerson. Fly ball, shallow right. And the catch is made by Pavin Smith. Cardinals pick up 3 more runs. They lead at 8-0.
I have to remind him that I look this way first because I'm 10 years older than him. Waino said a few years back in the Atlanta airport, I walked into the bathroom and some guy yells, "Madison Bumgarner." He wouldn't believe I wasn't him. And it was like the 3rd time that year something like that happened. And Danny, for the record, Waino says he thinks Madison is a very handsome guy. That's not surprising. Not surprising.
Not surprising at all. Good stuff, Jimmy. And there's Dakota Hudson. His night is through. He'll give way to Aaron Brooks. Numbers on Brooks, 6 2/3. The Chevy called to the pen. Now you have a couple of guys tomorrow, and you know Waino really well. You guys were teammates in the minor leagues, major leagues, really good friends. You know those 2 guys want to hit at the DH.
Oh, yeah,
with those 2 guys.
Look, I think that game like that, you throw it out the window and you let them hit.
Gentleman's agreement, huh?
That's it. Let's go. Let's go and see which guys got a little bit more. Those guys take everything they do seriously, and their at-bats absolutely was part of that. That is a whole lot of experience going at it tomorrow in the ball games. 687 combined starts for those 2.
And think about the postseason moments, the big moments both have had on the biggest stage in finishing off World Series, being on the mound and being that guy.
Yep.
Adam did it in 2006 when he was the closer. Mad Bum was just incredible against Kansas City.
Otherworldly.
Yeah.
What he was doing.
Here's Seth Beer. And a swing and a miss and a strikeout for Brooks to start the 7th. '22. It's the 40th anniversary of the 1982 world champion Cardinals. May 13th, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older take home a white 1982 inspired performance hat. It's courtesy of Quick Trip. Cardinals.com/promotions. So Brooks gets his first man. Diamondbacks have struck out 5 times tonight. And they have only 1 hit. Dakota Hudson, 6 innings, no runs, 1 hit allowed. It was a clean base hit to right. Struck out 4 and walked 3. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 2. That's going to be fun though tomorrow. Matt Bum, Waino, I would assume lefty on the mound, Albert in the lineup. Waino on the mound. That means Yachty behind the plate.
Oh yeah, you're going to get the trio for sure.
Come on down to the ballpark. 1-2 pitch, hammered down the right field line, and yanked foul by Marte, who is 0 for his last 21. Cardinals can hold on. Dakota Hudson will go to 13-3 here at Busch Stadium. And his ERA at this ballpark right now is 3rd best. There's John Lackey, Shelby Miller, Dakota Hudson, Chris Carpenter, Miles Michaelis, the top 5 in ERA here at Busch Stadium 3.
Really liked how we saw Dakota settle in, go out there, get some quick, efficient outs in this ball game. Offense backed him up.
And a ground ball hit into the shift. Tommy Edman. What'd you see from Dakota tonight, Brad?
Well, I saw a guy that got better as he went on. I saw somebody that started attacking in the zone. Only the 1 hit he gave up in this ball game. Did work around 3 walks, but the slider was really working. And he got a ton of ground balls, Dan. That's what I'd love to watch with Dakota Hudson. How'd he get them? Actually got a lot of the grounders on his slider. That pitch is a tight breaker. You're looking to just miss the bat. So 8 ground ball outs. Keep the defense busy. When you got Dakota Hudson stuff, let those guys work behind you. I thought he did a really nice job tonight.
It's Carson Kelly, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, the thought was Carson was the future behind the plate here in St. Louis. Yachty had said at one of his extensions, so this is it.
I'm done.
That's it. And that was not it.
Just kidding. I'm pretty glad he wasn't done.
There's plenty left in the tank, as we have found out. 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Probably no better feeling than what Hudson has right now. 6 innings, 1 hit, and your team is up 8-0.
Yeah, you went out there, you did your job, and you did it well. And then what we don't get to see is all the work that goes into the next one.
A fly ball to Tyler O'Neill. Time to stretch in a rainy night here at Busch. Redbirds on top in game 1. Sports Midwest brought to you by BMW. Experience the ultimate driving machine at a BMW center near you. By CarShield. CarShield cars go farther. And by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Had to take that off the mound 4 different times. 4 different times tonight, Brad.
That Rabowski's gotten some work, hasn't it?
Sure has. Wonder if Al is still at the ballpark or if he's made his way back home.
I bet Al is still hanging out with the fans. Yeah.
If you're in a suite, that's the place to be tonight. You're all covered up. Out of the rain. First pitch fouled back by Dylan Carlson. 0 for 3 tonight. Popped out to short, struck out, and fly to center. So the Blues and Cardinals playing tomorrow. And check your local listings for the channel. Valley Sports Midwest Plus or the main channel. Blues wrapping up their season against Vegas tomorrow. Vegas eliminated from postseason contention. And I just thought I'd bring that up with a Vegas native in Brad Thompson.
Yeah, look, it did not go their way this year.
No, it didn't.
Some would say a wasted season since you wasted all your draft picks too. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Strikeout of Dylan Carlson. This is the Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Bader 2 for 3 tonight. 2 runs scored. And his 5th stolen base to lead the National League. Also the defensive play of the game. It was early on in the 3rd inning as he went back at a ball hit by Pavin Smith and crashed up against the wall in center and just made a fantastic play. Back in the 3rd. What a play.
You know how many guys slow up on that? You know, you get to the track, you know you're approaching the wall, you know contact is coming, and all it takes is that little hesitation. You don't get to the wall, you don't catch the ball. No hesitation in Harrison's game.
There's a 1-1. And it's not like you're going back to where the bullpens are, and the outfielders will check, bouncing up against the walls and hitting the baseball against certain parts of the stadium to see how it reacts. So that part in center, though, you got a little bit of padding, and that's all concrete. 2-2 the count. Full count on Bader. Fouled back and a good cut. Cardinals with a 13-hit attack tonight, and every hit has been a single. 3-2. That's it out of play. Notice that Bader has been choking up a bit. Certainly will do that with 2 strikes, but even more so before that. He's choked up on the bat.
Controlling that barrel, a conscious effort to go the other way if the pitch is that way.
It is rare when you have this many singles and then this many runs and no extra base hits. Last time the Cardinals scored 8 or more without an extra base hit all the way back in 2004. That was against Kansas City. And since the divisional era, and that's from 1969 on, it's only happened 4 times.
Well, you could have given me the guess of a lot of Cardinal teams, and I would not have landed on 2004. I'll tell you that.
MV3?
Yeah.
They were hitting everything in sight. Good plate appearance here by Bader.
I like this a lot. Really making Widener work, spoiling a bunch of good pitches. You know how this works. You spoil enough good pitches, this guy will make a mistake.
Harrison in search of his 3rd base hit. And he'll take a walk. 10 pitch at bat. So he's on base for the 3rd time. Boy, that's one of the better at bats we've seen from Bader all year. And here is Yadier Molina. 2 hits, which includes an infield hit, and he's got a stolen base.
Say it again.
2 hits, infield hit, and a stolen base.
I like that.
Also has scored a run here tonight. The first pitch to Molina. Fly ball into center. And Varsho is under it. He'll make the catch. And Bader back to the bag at first. While we have a moment, quick word from Rally House.
Play ball, St. Louis. Shop the latest in Cardinals style with your favorite brands and throwback designs. Rally House has gear for every fan.
There's Paul DeYoung, hit by a pitch and scored. Base hit to center and struck out. That pitch taken inside. Paul trying to work on various things with his swing, and it's so tough to do it when you're playing every single day. Ball and a strike. You know, for instance, the front leg, trying to cut down on the high leg kick, and to do that day in and day out and try to correct it in the season. I mean, you have to do it, but it's not an easy thing to do.
Well, that's where the work behind the scenes comes in. All the reps that happen before a game. And you still got to leave enough gas in the tank to be ready to be out here and compete against the best.
The count of 2-1. Nobody throwing in the St. Louis bullpen. It'll be Brooks at least for one more inning, if not more. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. But this is where you want to see if there is a strike and he likes it, let it fly. 3-1 pitch to Paul DeYoung. Here it comes. And he hits it a mile high into left field. And the catch is made. We head to the 8th, and it's all St. Louis.
West Studios coming up on postgame. Dakota Hudson spins a gem, and Paul Goldschmidt is a 3-hit night against his former team. Rick Horton will join me. You should as well. Now back to Dan McLaughlin and Brad Thompson.
All right, Alexa, thank you, and looking forward to hearing what Ricky has to say. And Alexa, about the performance of Hudson. That's back-to-back games now, Brad, that he's really been lights out. So you get the performance tonight, gives you 6, and then coming off 6 2/3 shutout baseball in his previous start, and that was against the Reds. There's Nick Ahmed, and up the middle, oh my goodness, Tommy Edman gets to that ball, but Ahmed, good speed, gets down the line at a base hit. How about Tommy just getting there?
He's got that freak athleticism. He's got really good instincts. I mean, that almost takes off Brooks's foot. Yeah, another runner, maybe you got a chance for a throw, but Ahmed's not that guy.
Here's Perdomo after the base hit by Ahmed. That's it out of play. A lefty, Holton, getting loose for the Diamondbacks. The Cardinals will have the top of their lineup. They feature 3 lefties in their pen. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Lifted to left field, Tyler O'Neill. With the catch. The first out. Cardinals bullpen, it's kind of interesting, Brad. They're 5th in Major League Baseball. They have an ERA of 2.47. However, their strikeout rate is near the bottom. So they're 27th out of 30 teams, but they limit the hard contact. There's a lot of soft contact against them, and We talk about it a lot, constant thing with the pitching, but the ground ball rate is at 48%. So you get this defense behind you, you're going to get quick outs. The fly ball that carries to Bader in left center. He'll make the catch.
Yeah, to your point, to me, that's by design. When you have this defense, you pitch to it. Not to say this bullpen can't end up getting more strikeouts than they have, but when you go out there and get different guys, and Aaron Brooks on the mound is a very good example of a guy that they liked his profile coming out of the KBO. Tons and tons of ground balls, so use it. You know, have this guy that pitches to contact. Drew Verhagen, currently on the IL, but another guy that fit that mold. You have strikeouts at the back end of this pen. Giovanni Gallegos can get strikeouts. Ryan Helsley has been punching out a lot of guys. But why not use it?
Pavin Smith mentioned earlier the resemblance to Chris Duncan, and then we were also talking about your scoreless inning streak in minor league baseball, and I think it was you were telling me about how Dunk was just so nervous because your streak really started to get, garner national attention, and he didn't realize what was happening to the extent of how big it was, and then he's playing first base and saying, "Oh God, don't hit it to me."
Yeah, Dunk didn't. He finally realized at the end that it was any run. He just thought it was earned runs.
Okay, gotcha.
And then when he found out it was even unearned runs, to use a Dunkism, he got the tight cheeks.
That looks like Duncan too. He could hit him a long way, and there's a home run. 2-run shot, Pavin Smith, and his first home run of the season, and it cuts a lead to 8-2.
Kind of forgot what a home run looked like after the last week plus here of ball games. That's right there, 91 middle in. Good swing right there by Pavin Smith.
109 miles per hour off the bat. Ball was crushed. Now David Peralta with 2 outs. It's just the third hit for the Diamondbacks, and the second allowed by Brooks. But a scoreless 1-2-3 7th. Ahmed the infield hit. Perdomo flied out. So did Varsho, and Smith moments ago 2-run homer. Two and two. And the next fouled back. Was David Peralta around in the minor leagues when you were there?
No, I think that not when I was in the minor leagues. I never crossed paths with him.
So he goes from being a Cardinal minor league pitcher to a really good player, and defensively he's got a cannon for an arm, but he's wound up being a very good player for Arizona for a number of years now.
He really has.
3-2 pitch, and he struck him out. So Brooks gets his second strikeout midway through 8, and it's 8-2. So the Cardinals have 13 of them, and they have scored 8 runs, 8-2 as we move to the home half of the 8th. They have been busy tonight. The top of the lineup, Tommy Edman will lead it off, and will have a major league debut. The lefty Tyler Holton just called up before the game. Our Chevy called to the pen. Remember after opening day of this year and talking with Derek Shelton of the Pirates, and he said one of the great things I love when I come to St. Louis, and he said not all places do it. He said matter of fact most do not, but it doesn't matter if it's a Cardinal or a visiting player. But John Hewlett will say, and making his major league debut, it's Tyler Holton. He said just recognizing that moment, whether you're the visitor or the home player, said he loves it.
It is special.
Yes.
And you know fans here really appreciate things like that.
There was a little applause for Tyler as that was announced by John Hewlett, the PA man here at the ballpark. Tommy Edman has been on base 3 times, couple of hits and a walk, driven in a pair, and he has scored 3 runs. He's 6 for his last 9 with 6 runs scored. He's had back-to-back games with 3 runs scored. And the last time that happened was in 2019, early in that season, April of 19. It was Paul DeYoung who did that.
And now Tommy is batting from his quote-unquote good side, I guess.
Yes. He slaps it down the right field line and foul. Holton was at Reno, the minor leagues for Arizona, appeared in 5 games and a 6.75 ERA. Opponents were hitting .333 against him in 8 innings of work. And the 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 pitch. Edman, the first out. This is Brendan Donovan. We saw him talking with Albert Pujols earlier in the game as Donovan will face Holton. So you got one guy making his major league debut and the other looking for his first major league hit. First pitch to Donovan. Really cool shot, though, seeing Albert talking with Donovan and the 681 home runs combined.
It was a special moment for sure.
The 0-1. Donovan, base hit. Brendan Donovan has his first ever major league hit. Love those moments.
Well, it's going to be a question that he is going to be asked for the rest of his life. Do you remember your first major league hit? Who was it against? It was Tyler Holton. He was making his major league debut. Bottom of the 8th inning. What a moment. Congratulations.
There's an 0-1 pitch to Tyler O'Neill. 14th single for the Cardinals, and you saw that ball get thrown into the Cardinal dugout, and then it was in the hands of Chris Conroy, who's part of the medical team of the Cardinals. He then goes to the authenticator, and so they'll authenticate that baseball, and there's Chris, and then he'll put the date, the team, maybe a little bit more info on that baseball, but those guys are so good at doing that. It's amazing how well they can do it. Off the end of the bat, shallow center and a base hit, and Donovan will stop at second. Barry Weinberg did that for so many years for the Cardinals, had it down to a science, and then it's been now given to Chris Conroy.
Passed on for sure. You mentioned writing all of the events that are on, and that's exactly what Chris Conroy is doing right now, writing down all of the details of the evening so we can put those on the ball. They do it in beautiful calligraphy.
Yep. Here's Edmundo Sosa. Took over at third base. Now for a pitcher, is it their first strikeout? Is it the first ball they throw? What was it for you?
Yeah, I've got my first strikeout ball. I've got my first save and first win. Definitely have all those. And first hit.
So are they with mom and dad or are they with you?
They're with mom and dad.
Awesome.
They are in Vegas.
I bet they're awfully proud. That is one cool moment.
Yeah, it is. It is special.
0-2 pitch. Who'd you get your first hit off of?
Jason Schmidt of
That's
the
a good
Giants.
one.
Yeah, line drive up the middle. In my book, it was probably a shattered bat.
Hit's a hit. And the first strikeout. Did you know I was going to go there? You look like you're
like it's a test. Yeah, I think it was Augie Ojeda.
Okay.
Of the Padres.
Yeah, remember him.
And then ended up getting a 3-inning save in that one.
Here's the 1-2. Strikeout of Sosa. So you get the first win, and we saw that earlier this year. Cody Whitley got a win. That was his first. And there's that strikeout ball going to the Arizona Diamondback dugout. But then they greeted him with like milk, yogurt, shaving cream.
Yeah, real nice.
Yours was a little different?
Yeah, well, different. It was different when I ended up getting any of the first that I had. There were still beverages in clubhouses. And I ended up getting the beer shower is what I got, which was far more delicious than the mayonnaise mix that is going on now. But you know what? Just as special. It's about the ceremony, if you will.
I always like hearing the stories, too, like where Tyler Holton added late. You know, how did he get here? Where was he? Did you call family and friends? Who's the first phone call you made? Who told you? Like Stubby Clapp was telling me, I asked him the other day, it was the anniversary of Tyler O'Neill's debut, and I said, well, being a Canadian, he's Canadian, must have been really special. He said, I don't remember how I did it, but it was really, really special between us. He said, now, with other guys, you call them in the office and you make them think that, hey, you're in trouble. Something's going on here. Maybe you're getting sent down or, back to Double-A or whatever. Or in some cases, he would go out and hand them a ball. And it said something like, you're headed to the big leagues. Get out of here.
You're coming out of this game.
Yeah.
Headed to another one.
Right. The 2-1. 2-2 on Dickerson.
And when I got called up, it was Danny Schaefer was my manager at AAA, and we were on the road, and he called me down to the hotel lobby, and he said that I didn't pay my bill at the restaurant downstairs. I'm like, Skip, I paid the bill. He's like, get down here now. Okay. And he's like, don't worry about it. When I get down there, he's like, don't worry about that bill. You can afford it now.
That's
going to
great.
the big leagues.
That's great. 2-2 pitch. And Dickerson yanks it foul. And at that time, you had not yet met your future wife, who is from this area. So I'm assuming then maybe first called
Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad.
And I'm quite sure they didn't believe me.
Now, were there some tears shed?
Oh, yeah. Even thinking about it now, thinking about calling them, like get emotional about it, because that's the ride, right? And they were on it my entire life of going to all the games and being there. So we were talking about some of those moments yesterday.
That's great.
With Brendan Donovan, talking about all the people along the way that have been there.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. I mean, it's the individual's moment, certainly, but there are so many people that take pride in that hit that Brendan Donovan just got.
Coaches along the way, teachers, parents, friends. Pretty cool. The 2-2. Hit the other way, slicing. And caught with a sliding catch by Peralta. See, robs Dickerson, but Brendan Donovan picks up his first of what he hopes is many major league hits. Congratulations, Brendan. 15 hits tonight for the Cardinals. And Brad, it's something you don't see very often because all 15 hits have been singles. Brendan Donovan gets his first ever major league hit. Yachty has a stolen base. Early on in the ball game, great base running set up the offense for St. Louis and scoring runs. So been a lot of fun storylines in this game.
It really has. Solid defense as well. Dakota Hudson threw the ball well. First to third, sack flies. You've seen baseball on display.
So again, if you're just joining us, the last time Cardinals scored 8 or more runs without an extra base hit was against Kansas City in 2004. It was June 27th of that 04 campaign. They had 15 singles and they won 10-3. First pitch out to right and off the base of the wall. Christian Walker into second base. Albert went 0 for 4 in that game. Yachty did not play. And the Cardinals now will have back-to-back games of 15 hits. And they hadn't done that since 2018. By the way, the record for most hits in a 9-inning game without an extra base hit for the winning team is 16 singles. So the Cardinals are one shy of that.
What year was that? Do you have that?
1928.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. You asked me off the air in the break, have you ever seen anything like this? And I said, I guess I probably remember the 04 was doing games then. I would imagine we were doing the game, but I mean, nothing comes to mind like this.
You know, you watch a lot of baseball when you get home at night and on off days. You just don't see it, especially in this game nowadays where everything is built on the power and it's ISO and everybody wants their doubles, home runs, and you get it because they get paid like that. I like seeing bat to ball. I like just seeing ball in play, action, spraying the ball around, good base running.
A one pitch hit out to deep center. And Bader will make the catch in the first out. Walker tagging up from second to third.
Second baseman, Ketel Marte.
Ketel Marte. So one out and a runner at third. Infield is back in an 8-2 game. Andrew Kisner, the new catcher, by the way, for the Cardinals. If you have a ticket to tomorrow night's game, it is at 7:15. You have a lot of these 6:45 starts like tonight, but tomorrow 7:15, a Friday night here at Busch. Waino against Madison Bumgarner. The active leaders in home runs against the National League West. No surprise, Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, Albert Pujols. 104 against the West.
Of course. Makes all the sense in the world.
The 2-0 pitch. And that'll be fine. That tap foul. Three and one. Tommy, our director tonight, Brian Shapiro, our producer, Brian McCann, Keith O'Brien, Keith Oberman is trusted sidekick. And the 3-1 pitch. Hit down the left field line and out of play. Alexa Datt standing by at the desk. Ricky will be a part of the post-game show. Jim Hayes will have a player of the game interview once this 9th inning is done, and then head into the Cardinals clubhouse. Well, the post-game reaction. 3-2 pitch to Marte. Popped up again. Sosa runs out of room.
Have to imagine a pretty good vibe in the Cardinal clubhouse after they sealed this one up. Rattling off 15 hits 2 days in a row, an emotional win yesterday. You know how that can happen sometimes. It can either create momentum or you can just get drained from it, where you come out flat the next day. Nothing flat about the game today for the Cardinals.
The 3-2 pitch coming up from Brooks to Marte. Pulled foul. Fans have stuck around. It's been raining all night. Very light drizzle here at the ballpark right now, but fortunate that we got this in. A lot of talk that maybe it was going to rain hard tonight, not have a window until about this time, and then it's a short window where it may stop, and could have been a long night of baseball. 3-2 pitch, sticks the bat out, and going out to make the catch will be DeYoung, and the runner stays put. Walker at third, and Arizona down to their final out. So Brooks trying to make it 3 innings to close this out.
It's a big help to the bullpen too, with Aaron Brooks being able to extend, give the 3 innings. Bullpen heavily worked in the last 2 games, had to cover 12 innings.
Brooks trying to get the final out and go 3 innings, and then by doing this to match what you did, have a 3-inning save.
They're hard to come by. And there are things that when you look at the box score, you say, oh, okay, well, he threw 3 innings, gave up a couple of runs. You saved the pen is what he did.
Looking for his first career save, and that'll be a base hit into left field. Walker will score. That cuts into the lead. It's 8-3. That's going to be it. So Whitgren is loose and ready to come in and try to get the final out. So Brooks comes up 1 out short to pick up that save, and now Nick Whitgren is in. 8-3. Cardinals tomorrow will bring you both. Beginning with the Blues regular season finale, 6:30 here on Bally Sports Midwest. Cardinals play the Diamondbacks 6:30 on Bally Sports Midwest Extra. And you can stream them on the Bally Sports app. So here's Whitgren with a runner at first and trying to finish this ball game off. Give the Cardinals their 2nd win in a row. And get the Cardinals back to 4 games above the 500 mark. It would be win number 11 on the year. They'd go to 11-7. Drop the Diamondbacks to 8-12. Brendan Donovan, the first baseman, off the bag, playing behind the runner, and 1 pitch popped up. Kisner near the screen and out of play. Nick Ahmed is grounded out, flied out, singled, scored a run, and hits a fly ball out to deep left. And it hops over the wall on one bounce, and that'll bring Kelly back to the bag at third. And runners at second and third after the ground rule double. So the Cardinals catch a break as Kelly has to retreat back to third base. That stays in play. He scores easily. Second hit for Nick Ahmed. Cardinals have out hit Arizona 15-6. Two outs and two on. Perdomo has walked, grounded out, and flied out. Runners at second and third. The 1-0. Changeup taken low, 2 balls and no strikes. Wickren steps off, 2 balls, no strikes with 2 outs and 2 on here in the 9th inning.
You mentioned before another well-pitched game by Dakota Hudson. You love to see him build off of that. The offense coming alive. Good changeup right there from Nick Wickren. Love to seal this one up and get to the veteran pitchers duel tomorrow. Waino, Bumgarner, as you mentioned. Likely Albert Pujols in against the lefty. Yachty behind the plate.
The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Varsho, the top of the lineup on deck. Wickren trying to end it right here. 3 balls and 1 strike. And here it comes. And the Diamondbacks now down to their final strike. And time call. The 3-2 pitch by Wickren. Missed outside and the bases are loaded. Well, you have a 5-run lead, bases loaded, the tying run, the on deck circle.
Yeah, this got a little bit tighter than expected. Mike Maddox going to go out there with Nick Wickren, talk this thing over, how they're going to approach Dalton
Conroy out there too, and that's just to check to make sure he's all right, or maybe to help him clean his spike.
That Raboski not doing the work for him, probably behind there. That's where the tongue depressor comes in. That does get very difficult when it's muddy. You end up hitting when you're trying to land and you slide a little bit. It's hard to put the ball where you want it. Now they're going to talk it over and see how they want to attack. Dalton Varsho does have power, likes to get extended, He crowds the plate. If you can get in on him, you can get him. Just in case, Giovanni Gallegos going to toss lightly. Not going to get fired up until he really needs to, but you got to be ready in this situation, and not a game where you expected to have to get Giovanni Gallegos up.
So bases loaded and 2 outs for Arizona here in the top of the 9th, trailing 8-3. First pitch taken low. And the 1-0. Ripped foul. It's hot potato down that right field line. What are you laughing at?
I'm not sure I've seen a ball do that. I think he hit off like 40 things before it ended up finding a home behind the fence.
And again, down to their final strike.
That's the spot right there. You got him protecting here with 2 strikes. Another one of those. Get him to swing over it. Get out of here.
The 1-2. He struck him out. Wickren gets the final out. The Cardinals win it by the final of 8-3. Brendan Donovan, his first ever major league hit. All singles tonight for the Cardinals, and they take game 1 of the series.
Congratulations to Brendan Donovan. Special night, one he'll never forget, and a great night for this Cardinals offense. Dakota Hudson did his job as well. 6 strong, only 1 hit. Great way to start this series against the D-backs.
It is off to the post-game show. The Cardinals 8, Arizona 3, and St. Louis takes game 1.